It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Rafael Nadal versus Sasha Zverev in the first round of Roland Garros. The King of Clay is back and he's looking to take out the number 4 seed. This is the preview. Let's go through it. And before we go anywhere, make sure you've hit a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to join us for the match as well. It is gonna be epic. But let's get stuck into it, and it has been confirmed. Nadal versus Zverev is a day session match and will be the third match on court Philippe Chatrier. Wow, wow, wow. And if you want to know the other matches that will be played beforehand, these are the matches, and it will be Ons Jabeur versus Sasha Vickery first. Then it'll be followed by Swiatek versus Jean, the French player, and then the big one, Sasha Zverev, Rafael Nadal. I mean, just seeing both those names, this is like a semi-final matchup, but we got it in the first round. This is crazy. I can't quite believe that this is happening so early in a tournament, but it's super exciting. It means we start the tournament with a bang. Unlike a lot of the other years where we sort of meander through the first few rounds, well, this has thrown a cat amongst the pigeons, that's for sure. And this is even crazier. The tickets we saw today for Nadal Zverev are ranging from 1,500 to 3,000 euros at the cheapest. That is insane. Oh my word. You have to be a lucky punter to be able to be there to watch that matchup. Somebody who's going to be trying to catch it, Novak Djokovic. He said, I'll try and catch as much as I can from that match. I think everyone will want to see what will happen. Yes, most definitely. And if his practice, and I'm talking about Rafael Nadal, is anything to go by, there'll be people clamoring at the rafters to try and get a peek of this match. 10,000 people were present for Nadal's practice session. Let's just put that into perspective. Practice session. This is more than some football teams get going to watch them. Nadal practicing, got 10,000 people watching him. This is absolutely unheard of. We're talking about practice, not the game. Practice. I mean, the highly anticipated return of Rafael Nadal. And well, this press conference that he came out and he spoke in as well is looking even more positive. This is great news for Rafa fans. When you hear Rafa joking and you hear him talking not in such a negative way that we've seen in other press conferences, he is pretty much ruling out for now chance that this will be his last Roland Garros, and that's caused a bit of problems probably with the organisation, because Amelie Mauresmo has said they had a farewell ceremony for Rafael Nadal planned, but they've cancelled it now. And she says, we are ready whenever he feels he wants to do it. Well, yeah, most definitely. Do not do it beforehand, because if Rafa wants to keep playing at Roland Garros, no one is going to tell him otherwise. And, well, if he performs at this Roland Garros, there's definitely going to be another one in the chamber as long as he stays free of injury. Well, this tweet as well. Ollie Patone's been going mad. Obviously, Ollie's going to be going to the match, so hope Ollie enjoys it. And just saying that Rafael Nadal is 80-0 in his last 80 matches at Roland Garros, playing players that are not named Novak Djokovic. 80-0. That is correct. Well, and somebody else who's come out singing the praises is Boris Becker, saying that Rafa's record at Roland Garros is the best sporting record ever. He said, you win it 5 times, that's a lot. You win it 10 times, that's impossible. Nadal's won it 14 times. I don't know any other record in any other sport that equals that. I mean, it is ridiculous. 14 times on one of the toughest tournaments to be able to win of all time. But Rafa's done it, and he's looking for 15. I mean, if he can beat Zverev, there might be a chance. But if we remember back, let's wind back a couple of years, and it was one of the best unfinished matches of all time. Zverev turned up in the semi-final but against Nadal, and it was a brilliant matchup. It was one of the most exciting matchups I've watched at Roland Garros, and one of the best performances against Nadal I've seen from anybody, I think. Obviously, you'd have to look to the people who've actually beaten him, but I thought Zverev may have been on course to do something like that on that day before that horrendous ankle roll, but it wasn't to be that day. Rafa went through, and Rafa was triumphant, as we know. But Zverev, he's come back. He's gone through the injury mill, and he's come out the other side, and he's actually made his way back to the top of the sport again. And this will show you he's just won Rome, the last tournament before Roland Garros, a Masters event, something that everybody's just noting. It's not an easy event to win. Rafa even said it himself. He said he's just won a Masters. This shouldn't be like sniffed at, really. And it's the second time he won it, and 7 years apart as well. 2017, he was having a storming year back then in 2017, and 2024 as well. He's now 27 years of age, and winning his second Rome crown. Quite incredible that he is probably the most informed player coming in to Roland Garros, and couldn't be a worse draw really for Rafa if Zverev plays the same way he's been playing, and if Rafa doesn't obviously reach the heights that he used to reach, and he plays the way that he's been playing in the last few tournaments, then it looks like a foregone conclusion. But Zverev in 2017, after winning Rome, he plays a left-handed player in the first round of Roland Garros. I believe it was Fernando Verdasco, and went out. Zverev, obviously now, 7 years later, another Spanish player, another first round, another left-handed player. If the result is repeated tomorrow, that will be amazing. I mean, is it possible? I mean, these things, the stars do align sometimes when we're looking at like some crazy statistics. We see all the things with Alcaraz and Nadal and the way their careers seem to be going in parallel from the different ages. But sometimes lightning does strike twice. It is a bit bizarre in tennis, but it does happen. And I wouldn't be surprised, if it did happen. It would be pretty crazy, I have to say, if it did. But if it did, I mean, it would be absolutely insane. I'm just checking just to make sure. Yeah, I mean, it was 2017. It was 4 sets that Verdasco beat him in. 6-4, 3-6, 6-4, 6-2. I mean, make of that what you will. I mean, it's a little bit of fun, but let's have a look at some actual statistics as well, because Zverev right now, here's the player with the most career ATP titles for players born since 1990. He has 22 ATP titles, ahead of Medvedev with 20, Thiem with 17, Rublev 16, Sinner and Alcaraz 13, and Casper Ruud with 12. So we know he is playing some fantastic stuff right now, Sasha Zverev, and still racking up those wins. We know he won the Olympics as well. He's a big match player, and we saw it against Nadal last time they played at Roland Garros. Let's have a look at the head-to-head. This is the head-to-head, and it is 7-3 in favour of Rafael Nadal. And where did they take place, I hear you ask? Well, the last 3 that took place were actually on clay as well. Obviously, we know the last one, it was in Roland Garros in the semi-final. And it was a retirement from Zverev after, well, it was 7-6, 6-6. So we'll never know what would have happened that day. Before that, it was Rome, quarterfinal. Rafael Nadal won in 2021, straight sets. Before that, it was Madrid. More Zverev's style of surface, faster, and he beat Rafa in straight sets. But if we look down the list there, they have played a few more times on clay, but we're going all the way back to 2018 and 2017, and Rafa, the victor in those ones there as well. So you'd have to say, based upon all of their meetings on clay, Rafa would look to be the favourite. But we know that is the Rafa of then, and this is the Rafa of now. So let's get in to our prediction. So here we go. Zverev, Nadal. How do I see this one going? Before I came into this tournament, I was dead certain that Zverev was just going to have his way with Rafael Nadal. I was pretty confident in it as well. I thought this will just be not even competitive. Based upon what we've seen from Rafa in the last few tournaments, didn't think he looked good at all. I thought he looked old. I thought he looked slow. And a lot of errors. But since he's come to Roland Garros, since I've seen his demeanour, and since I've seen the way that he's speaking in press conferences about how he feels, and his movement, he's saying, is the main thing right now which has improved, and how he is able to run around the court with much more freedom than he was in the past tournaments. It changes a lot, because if what I was thinking was him looking old was actually him struggling with an injury, and if he has better movement in this tournament, well, we are going to be in for an absolute cracker. Not to mention, he has beaten in practice matches Daniel Medvedev, Sebastian Korda and Holger Rune. 3 practice matches, 3 wins for Rafa. Sasha Zverev, though, the informed player, he's coming in confident. His brother is speaking out and he's confident as well. So it's really tough to see which way this is going to go. I've completely it's thrown me completely off. Before coming into the tournament, I would have said Zverev wins this one comfortably, and I probably would have said straight sets as well. Now I'm leaning towards a very even contest, if I'm honest. I think that this could be very like a 50-50. And I'm really struggling to pick. There's part of me that wants to see Rafa win. And that's just the tennis lover in me and the history that I love with tennis. Obviously, I love Djokovic as well, but I would love to see Nadal meet Djokovic. So, I mean, there is just part of me in there that thinks this is going to be 5 sets. I'm going with that. I am going with a 5-set match. And I think Sasha Zverev is going to win in 5 sets. But I don't think it's going to be easy at all. And I think Rafa is really going to just give him the runaround. And I think the one thing which is going to be on Sasha Zverev's side, and I think that will be the age. And I think that he is about 10 years his junior. And I think that will play a factor come that 5th set. And I think that Zverev, he's so resilient. He has a very good defensive game. And I think it will be enough just to get past Rafa, and he may wear Rafa down despite the willingness of the crowd. But it will be an amazing fight, and it will be maybe even match of the tournament. But that's my prediction. Let me know in the comment section, do you agree with me, or are you going for Rafa? I mean, it would be the most amazing fairy tale if it does happen. And if it does happen, he doesn't have a bad draw either after that. So maybe he could go all the way. Anyway, make sure to smash a like, subscribe, and join us for the match. It's going to be epic. Come on!